guys, it's your girl Mira, and I am back in the USA. Guys, so as you last remember, my last couple videos, if you've been keeping up, we've been traveling and just doing odd and ends. Vlogmas is finally over. Y'all, let me tell you, Vlogmas was hard this year, for real. I picked out of all the years to want to try to really push through it. It didn't happen, but guess what? I did my best, and that's all that counts. If you are back at it here and you are a true Mirror gang from the start, welcome back. And if you just so happen to come across this channel because somehow it popped up on your feeds, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified each and every time I drop a video. Woo! Guys, alright, so as a title of this, many of you may already kind of know where this is going, and this is a totally different segment. As you know, this channel is called Mirror, but of course, the segments of my life as far as family, travel, and life purpose. And as you guys see today, why did you make that face?
Oh, my bad.
Guys, he must have forgot he was being recorded, but we're just gonna keep going with this. Guys, this is my lovely husband, Brandon, as many of you know, Ayo. And he's joined me today just as a support, more so, I guess. Guys, he's always going to be doing something crazy and laughing, so we might as well get used to this. But he joined me today just as a support of what we're going to talk about today. So, you know, you guys see me a lot of times with my family. You guys see me a lot of times traveling. But now it's time to get a little deeper into my life purpose. So, without further delay, here we go. Alright guys, so, just a little backstory. Well, let me give you this part first, and then I'll give you the backstory. So, as part of my life purpose, it is really to truly help people. In many of my other videos, I have mentioned this before. And there is something that I haven't gone through for many years. I'm going to say since about 2011. That I haven't really shared with a lot of people. Most people in my family know that are very close to me. But I'm learning over time, the more information I learn about what's going on with me. It's so many other people who also have this going on, but they hide in it because they're ashamed. Which I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have gone through. It's a lot of people who just aren't educated on it. And I realized a long time ago, I felt like God kind of told me, I felt like God told me that I need to be very vulnerable about this and share my journey because it's going to help other people. I'm going to be honest, I did not listen in the beginning because I felt, like I said, I was kind of ashamed. It was very vulnerable. It made me feel very vulnerable to other people, how they would feel towards me, or even how I felt about myself. It made me question a lot. But it has really become a forefront right now in me and Brandon's life. So I had asked God, when should I share this? And even though I had asked him that, I went ahead and told myself when I was going to share it, which is later on down the line after a certain point. And that is not what God ended up telling me. So I actually ended up being told that by a very close friend, sister, family member, spiritual sister, all of that God had told her that I was not listening. And I knew exactly what she was talking about. She had no idea what that message meant and so forth. So I spoke to Brandon, and we were like, we're going to go ahead and do this. So today's date is December 27th, 2020. And I chose today. Well, really, Brandon chose today because I was going to do it the day after Christmas, but he said let's do it on Sunday, so here we are. Alright, so let's just get into it. Alright, so basically, for those who do not know, I, in 2016, was diagnosed with PCOS. PCOS is a pulmonary cystic ovary syndrome. It is a hormone imbalance. And just to kind of give a better terminology of it, because the way I explain it is kind of just like me just saying it's a hormone imbalance, that these are the symptoms. But I really want to make sure that people understand. Part of the reason, also, really quick side story, and I promise I won't keep doing side stories. Um, I asked God to send me a confirmation that I really needed to do this after already being told that. And a lot of people who don't know, the actress Keke Palmer actually just recently got diagnosed after going through a whole journey. And I literally had just asked God for this confirmation maybe about not even a few days prior. And I felt like literally her stuff never shows up on my timeline, even though I'm following her. And like I woke up and boom, there it was on my Instagram timeline. And I just knew, and even reading the comments and so forth, that a lot of people had no idea about this. A lot of people were struggling with this and was just glad to hear somebody else talking about it that they could feel like they're relating to and not feel like they're by themselves. Because as much as we probably know that we're not by ourselves, a lot of times it feels like it. All right, so again, basically PCOS is a pulmonary cystic ovary syndrome. um, Ovarian syndrome, excuse me. Basically, it is a hormonal disorder causing enlarged ovaries with small cysts on the outer edges. So basically, the cause of the PCOS isn't well understood, but it may involve a combination of genetics and they like to also say environmental factors. But the reason that this has affected so many women in different ways is because the symptoms do include your menstruals being irregular, um, excessive hair growth on the face and different areas of the body where most females would not get it, acne, and obesity. And of course, because of the obesity, it does cause, um, what is it, prediabetes. So, I have a lot of stuff written down because I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So if you guys see me looking down, I'm just making sure that I'm educating you guys the way that I should. So my own story, that's what we're going to talk about here. And the reason that I'm sharing this, I am 32 years old. My husband is 35. And of course, us being married for a year now, you know, neither one of us have children biologically. And of course, as you guys may guess, we get that question all the time. When are you going to have children? And we also get, what are you waiting for? You guys should be having, you guys should be doing. And what people don't realize, a lot of times my response to them, no one ever asks Brandon this, do they?
No, not really.
They like never ask him. They're always directing it right at me. But what people never knew, a lot of people didn't know until now, of course, is that I have been dealing with this. And so what happens is a lot of times when people ask that, my response would be in God's timing, because I do believe it is in God's timing. But I have to also be honest that a lot of times being asked that or being told that, it does mess with me sometimes because, you know, unfortunately the way that I was delivered my diagnosis wasn't a great one. So basically, I'm going to kind of share with you guys how I found out. And that would be the start of this journey with you guys. So just to also let you guys know, me and Brandon have been, like, I guess actively,
Very
um,
actively.
whatever, actively trying to conceive for about, it's been like 8 months, 7 months, 8 months now. I went to the doctor because with this, I actually had to know. Well, yeah, so we started the process. Let me say it that way because what happened is my particular doctor, which we'll get more into it, did inform me that when we were ready, I would have to advise her, which I'm gonna get into why. So of course, when that happened, I had to go to the doctor. I then had to be taken off of the medicine I was on at the time, which was birth control, which I was only on that to help regulate the PCOS, not because, you know, I didn't want to get pregnant, but I had to use that in order to help. But I just got frozen in my mind. Oh, so that was in April. And then after April, I then was given, I had to take a test. When I went, and then we basically could start the journey. So then I started my prenatals and all of that in May. So yeah, that's why I say about 7-8 months. We allowed the prenatals to get in my system for about a month before we actively, started it. Yeah, so about 6 months actively started, but we started the process in April. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the next part. All right, so my journey. So in about 2011, I noticed that I was having irregular cycles. I noticed that my cycle would literally like disappear for like, let's say, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months at a time, and I could not figure out why. So the first, I was going to my GYN at the time, and I would let her know. And at that first time, it was only 3 months. And she was like, oh, it's normal, it's okay. And I'm like, okay, this has never happened to me before. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so it came back. A couple months went by. Everything, seemed like it was coming like regular. Cool. That went on for about maybe a good 5-6 months. And then all of a sudden, it disappeared again. But this time, it disappeared for 2 months. So then I'm like, okay. Told my doctor again. Again, she's like, oh, that's normal. And again, there's something for me that I felt something wasn't right with my body. So time went on, whatever the case. My cycle finally did come back. Now, mind you, we're like almost in 2013. So 2013, my cycle disappeared. No, 2013 going into 14. Guys, my cycle disappeared for about 6 months at this point. And at this point, you know, the person I was dealing with at the time was looking at me like, is there something I need to know? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to explain to them what it is. I just don't know what it is, but that it's normal per my doctors. At this point, guys, I had been to 2 doctors because I had switched my GYN. Everyone's telling me the same thing. So I made an appointment. She was like, this particular doctor was like, all right, for the 6 months. It was like, if it goes 6 months, make an appointment. Guys, I went 6 months. I called. They made me an appointment for like literally the following week. The day of my appointment, my cycle came on. So I called the doctor's office that morning, tell them. They're like, oh, you don't have to come in now. Da, 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 da. So I'm like, okay, something's not right. So still going to the doctor, but they still keep telling me everything's cool, everything's fine. I knew it wasn't. So I changed my gynecologist again because I'm like, something's not right. But I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and get a male doctor. So I go to this male doctor. I let the doctor know what's going on. He's like, you know what, I'm going to test you for a few things. So we're going to get some blood work, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. Now, guys, it's now 2016. So this is 5 years later after the very first incident of me not like having a cycle. So I get a phone call after doing the blood work and stuff like that where the doctor wants me to come back in. So at this point, I'm like, okay, something came back because he wants me to come in. So I go in, and this is literally my experience finding out, guys. And so the doctor called, they call me back. Doctor comes in the room, and he literally just like comes in and is like, hey, nice to see you. All right, well, your test results came in. You have PCOS, which is pulmonary cystic ovarian cancer syndrome, excuse me. And I'm looking at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, so that's the reason. Because also what I forgot to tell you guys, during this time, what I also knew something was wrong, you guys, not only was I missing cycles, I had gained so much weight. I went from I was 145 pounds and went up to 190. Not because I was like I've always been active. I like to eat, but regardless of that, my whole life I've been skinny. But this is like the biggest I've ever been. They try to put me on steroids, all types of stuff. So I was like, maybe it's the steroids. I mean, I don't know, but it wasn't. Um, so he was like, yeah, that's why you have the extra weight. That's also why your cycle's been like that. Oh yeah, by the way, you're pre-diabetic. So you need to change the way you eat. Da da da. So I was like, okay, so I'm confused. Like, so what does this mean? Like, why is it causing my cycle to stop? And he's just like, well, it's just one of the symptoms. And, are you trying to have a baby right now or anything? And I was like, no. He was like, okay, well, when that time comes, we'll look at fertility options. So I'm like, fertility options? What do you mean? He was like, well, because of your PCOS, you're not really gonna, you may have some complications. So I'm like, so you're telling me I'm not gonna be able to have kids? And he just kind of looks at me like, that's not what I'm saying. So the room just goes quiet. And the doctor's like, well, if you have any other questions, let me know. And he literally walks out. I literally left that doctor's office that day, literally somehow in my mind, convinced that I could never have children. The delivery from this particular doctor was the worst. I wasn't educated the way I felt I should have been. I didn't know what was going on. I literally got out in the car, called my mom, and was like just bawling, crying. And of course, my mom starts praying and telling me like, no, that's not going to be the case. We're not going to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. So that was the first time I found out I had PCOS. Okay, so now I have the diagnosis. I still don't know what's going on. I was also due to move out of state. So I move out of state a couple months after that. When I get my new doctor, I tell them, they start checking. That doctor actually sat down with me and was like, listen, we're going to do an ultrasound. We'll check your eggs. We'll figure out. And basically tried to like explain to me in a better way and was very apologetic for the doctor in a whole nother state on what they did. So yeah. So now I live here in South Carolina. I have an amazing doctor. Oh my God, I love my doctor now, my GYN. I've been with her about, what, 3 years now? March 17th, almost here. So March of this year, I think made 3 years. About 3. Yeah, about 3 years. She I told her, like, even though these other doctors, it was just like still in my mind. I guess I was trying to convince myself I wanted to be tested again. She was like, your insurance isn't going to pay for this. I know you have it, but if it'll make you feel better. So I was like, that's fine, I'll pay for it. So I did, and the test results did come back. She did a totally different test than what the first doctor did, just to show me. And yeah, so I do have it. So where does that leave us now? This, of course, is kind of like more so where Brandon comes in. And I guess the point of me sharing all of this and everything is like I said in the beginning, but we're gonna basically be vlogging this entire, I keep looking at him, guys, I'm sorry. And this light is really bright. I feel like it's only on me. Sorry. Woo. Focus. Alright. So, it is really bright, right? Guys, hold on one second. This light is super bright. Alright guys, sorry about that. I had to like change the function of the light because it was just, woo! Yeah. So, basically at this point, where we are at is, I'm going to be basically vlogging this entire journey. I kind of wish I would have started a little earlier, but that's my fault. Just kind of, not really being sure if I wanted to be vulnerable and share this. Brandon hasn't stopped me. I would talk to him a lot about it. You want to say something, babe?
Nah, no, keep on.
And, yeah, like, he's been super supportive of this whole thing. This is like before we got married. This is the type of conversations we had, in reference to everything. Just letting him know, like, the different possibilities. We've talked about what would happen if, let's say, we just can't. Like, we're open to adoption, and all of those different things. So, I've just been really blessed with a great, 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 great partner, husband, spouse, best friend, everything. Um, thank you. But seriously, so I guess that's really where this goes. So this week, like I said, we've been trying. Um, so when we started, basically, let me rewind real quick. So when we started trying, when I went to the doctor, so she explained to me that, of course, I had to come off the birth control. But what she didn't know is I had took myself off the birth control back in November of 2009. No, 2019, excuse me, back November 2019, because of the fact that, honestly, guys, I am really, really bad at remembering to take pills. And I just had it all messed up. So I was like trying to get my body to get back in regular motion in order to take them the way it was supposed to. And that just wasn't happening at all with my PCOS. Um, so that part, she was like, okay, well, what we need to do next is we need to actually do a test where we have to draw your blood, but it has to be on the 4th day of your cycle. Well, guys, let me tell you how. I was like, well, this must be God, because guess what? My cycle came 4 days ago, and today's day 4. She's like, great, let's take the blood work today. So basically, by her taking the blood work, I forget what test she had to do, honestly, guys. If I remember, I'll insert it down at the bottom. Right, I'll put it like right there. Yeah. Um, and basically, I had to wait for that. She then called me a few days later and was like, you guys are clear. Everything came back great. Your counts look good. Go ahead and start trying. Start taking pre-meds also. Not prenatals. Yes, thank you. Prenatals. To also get that going. So, like I said, I did literally that same day. She told me it was okay. I started taking the prenatals, but me and Brandon did not start the process. We were like, let's let the prenatals get in the system a little bit, blah, blah, blah. This went on for actually a few months. And in the process of this going on for a few months, we were like, okay, what's going on? You know what I mean? Brandon was confident, y'all. He was like, listen, we ain't got to worry about all that. This going to happen first time. That's it.
Yeah.
It didn't happen that way. It did not happen. So guys, after about, I'm gonna say 4 months, we had like some cases where like we thought I was and I wasn't. We had a couple cases like that. It was just my cycle playing games. Our average cycle is 28 days. Mine stretch anywhere from 30 to 45, 44, 45. And just you never know when it's going to be. So sometimes I come from what the chart will say a week early, 2 weeks early. Sometimes I come 3 weeks late. Sometimes I don't come at all. So it just really, we don't know. So the doctor basically then prescribed me with a pill, which I will put the name of that right here. And I now take this pill when my cycle does come on day 3 through 7. This is a fertility pill for those who do have PCOS to try to help that. But in the process of that, I also now go to a specialist, which is a reproductive endometriologist. Which my first appointment is actually January 5th in the new year. So we will be going to that to have our consult and just start that whole process. So in the meantime, I have been instructed to basically take ovulation tests, which are these little thingies. Yeah, you guys probably can't even see this. Yeah, I don't know. But as you see, it literally is a negative. Because one line is darker and they're both supposed to be dark. Now, crazy thing is, I take this every day, just about. Literally on the 11th, from the 11th day of my cycle. So yeah, like the first day of your cycle is day 1. On day 11, I start taking those. I literally, today's the 27th, I had a positive one. My very first one, I mean bold, y'all. On the 20th. So we don't know, which was really odd because the tracker that I used with the doctor actually said I shouldn't have had a positive one, possibly, as far as in ovulation until the 29th. So this is really odd. I don't know. I don't know if there's a defect or what, but I just know that the past couple of days when I've been still taking them, now all of a sudden it's negative. So we will see. I'm keeping note of that so we can tell the endometriologist when I go. And here starts the journey that you guys will be coming on with us. So I've been doing a whole lot of talking, guys. I want to see what Brandon has to.
What I got to say about what?
I don't know, like you don't have to have anything. He's super quiet all the time. So this, I'm not really shocked, but I just wanted to make sure I gave him the opportunity if he wanted to share something. Maybe like, what would you tell another guy or a spouse in general? You know, it could be two wives. You know, some. What would you tell somebody who was going through this with their spouse?
Support your spouse. It's. I mean, it's not.
It,
It's not that hard.
I get that, baby. Oh, he looks so crazy right now. But I know it's not that hard. But see, it's not that hard for you. But there's some people that may be struggling with this. Like, but there's some people who don't know. They're struggling with the fact that they don't know what to tell their spouse. They don't know how to be supportive because whatever, you know.
I'm not sitting here saying I know what to say all the time, but it's not hard to show somebody you there for them when they're going through something. It's really kind of simple. It's easy when you're doing it for the person you're supposed to do it for.
Well, there you have it, guys. So yeah, guys. This is gonna be the start. And there may be some videos that I may be doing. You'll just see me. Like I said, Brandon, when I told him I wanted to do this, you know, I asked him, did he want to be in it? He was like, yeah, I want to, you know, be there to support. So he's just been, that feels so good. I love a good, like, massage on the scalp. Put me right to sleep.
Oh,
Nah, I'm a little tired. But, yeah. Um, for those who are watching this and you may have been one of the people who were like, when are y'all gonna have a baby? Da, 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 da. Now you have your answer. And I'm not even mad because the truth of the matter is you didn't know. You know, I think that those who are asking that are genuinely just asking because they're excited for us, or, you know, they just want to see us have a child or something.
I know that ain't what I think.
Brandon probably think y'all just being nosy. Some people that is the case though. Let's keep it 100. Some people that is the case, but I do feel that a good majority of it is the fact that, you know, you just really want to see, um, you know, us happy and with the family and so forth. So that is it for this. I will keep you guys updated. Like I said, as you see, um, the test is negative right now for ovulation, which basically from what it's showing, I'm not in high ovulation right now, even though my chart says I should be. So here we are. And as far as the symptoms of my PCOS, um, I do, like I mentioned earlier, I have the pre-diabetic, I have the obesity, because I'm now 100, well, I've been able to keep it down because I'm now, a year ago, December 1st, 2019, I went paleo-pescatarian, which means I only eat chicken and seafood, and by changing that diet, it has allowed me to drop a couple pounds. I am thinking about leaving bread and fried food alone as well because I feel that would drop a couple more. So I have gone from about almost 190 to about an even 179, 180. It fluctuates literally between 179, 180. Um, so that has helped. But even honestly, exercising, I can walk, I can do that in a third. It doesn't really help, and that's one of the things my doctor said. Like, it's good that I'm doing it because my body can feel it, but like the weight coming off, it's really hard, guys, honestly. Because of this, I do get the ingrown hair sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I can see like a little mustache. Do you feel like sometimes I have a mustache? You can answer that honestly. No.
Not really.
But sometimes I feel like it's a little darker. Like, I just might be paying attention to it too much. I don't know. I did notice, like, I do get little hairs of hair sometimes, but nothing like where it looks like strands of hair. Just like little fuzzy. I don't know. I probably am the only one who see it, but I definitely get the acne. Thank God it's not always on my face. So that's where these marks came from, besides my beautiful mole. And like under here, but I have it on my shoulders, my upper back, and I didn't have it like that prior to this. So, oh, those look good. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. And I just welcome you to this journey. To our future children, we love you. You were prayed about. You were not a mistake, clearly. This.
Oh no, we trying for y'all.
Yes, we are. So we hope that when you look back at this video, you do see, of course, the humor that we have in trying to stay positive about this. But you just know that, we love you and we look forward to the day that we can conceive you, carry you, deliver you, grow old with you. All of that. We have our children's names picked already. So I'm not about to mess up and say their names. Because we do actually talk about them by name when we're just talking to each other. So, P.S. Uncle B loves you guys too, okay? He's in the room, but he's just not saying anything.
Yeah, he's over there in the corner. Over there.
With a smile on his face because he's not going to say anything. But yeah, so we love you guys and we are out. Bye.